When you talk about regional promotions, that's one of the toughest things for us is that, we're in the ticket selling business when you're a standalone, right? We live and die by ticket sales. So when we sign fighters, we have an expectation that they're going to be able to sell a certain amount of tickets. So not only puts pressure on the promotion, but the athletes too. So the more we get Alliance MMA and our brand name out there and we really market these events, we'll create more casual fans. So that'll put less pressure on the fighters and they can go back and focus on what they're doing best, which is preparing to fight. It's our ticketing platform, and essentially what we do is we're going to assist fighters in their ticket sales. We realize that, leading up to a fight, these athletes are going through a lot, right? They're preparing, they're meeting with their boxing coaches, wrestling, and this and that, and their schedule gets hectic. And then on top of that, these guys are cutting weight, right? So they're usually not in the best of moods. So the last thing they want to do is go out and push tickets. So we want to take a little bit off of their plate and help them, and Cagetix will afford us the opportunity to do that. From early on, I looked at it as building a brand. I wasn't looking at just sheer profitability, because if that was the case, I wouldn't have put so much emphasis in high-level fights or as much emphasis in our production value. I wanted people to come, and especially being at the Borgata, you can't have a night off, right? There's an expectation when you're at the Borgata, you have to deliver. And we were successful doing that. So now we're sort of taking that model and we're, bringing that around the country to various locations. Obviously left the UFC a few years ago. He lives in Philadelphia. I live in Haddonfield. So, he's 20 minutes from me, and I was sitting there and I said, let me just message him on Facebook. And I said, hey, I'm Rob Haydak. I own a small promotion. Immediately got back to me. He said, how are you? I said, good. I said, can I buy you lunch? And he said, sure. And we end up picking the same restaurant, his favorite and my favorite. So, before I met with him, my next call was to Dana White. I reached out to him and I said, Dana, I said, I know Burt's not with you anymore. Would it be okay with you if we offered him a position? And his immediate response was, absolutely, he's a great guy. So that gave me a comfort level. And then, Burt and I met for lunch and we spoke for a little bit. And he agreed to do a show, just to show up. And Burt goes, I'll just show up, I'll check it out, and you and I can talk after. The show started about 10 minutes in, and I'm like, where'd Burt go? And he was in the back, and he was doing his whole thing, and main event, he came back out, he said, sorry, I just couldn't help myself. So, and then from there, we worked it out, and that was 2 years ago. So I knew at that point what the vision was and what was going to happen with Alliance MMA, although it wasn't, publicly announced. That was always in the back of my mind. Wow, how awesome would it be to have this guy as a mentor for various regional promotions around the country? So, I've been spoiled. The guy's really a mentor for me as well. So to have him in Alliance, it's really special. So Burt Watson is not only a member of our board of directors, along with Henzo Gracie, who I'm sure you're familiar with, they're board members, but Burt's also been hired for fighter relations. And what he's going to do is he's going to go around the country to our Alliance MMA promotions and sort of be a mentor to the guys that are running the back of the house. We're looking for all of our shows to be very similar in how they look and operate, and Burt will be a big part of that. Yeah, absolutely. It's a major media market, and it would make sense for us to do events in this area. Obviously, CFFC has strong interest in coming into this market. The majority of the fighters that we have under contract actually reside in the state of New York, so it would be very beneficial for us to do events here. The New York State officials have come to previous events at the Borgata in Atlantic City, take a look at our show. They've brought doctors in and took a look at how we run the back of the house, invited us up to their offices. So we sat down and we're in talks with a few different venues, actually right here in Manhattan, and we're definitely going to do some shows next year. I think Alliance MMA will always be acutely aware of its position in the MMA space. Right? We're not looking to compete with UFC or Bellator. That's been tried before, and that's a recipe for disaster. We don't plan on doing that. We look at what we're doing as very complementary to those top feeder or top promotions in the world, like the Bellators, the ONE FC, and the UFC. And we want to provide athletes the platform to get to that level. And we're pretty happy where we're at.